This might sound strange, but looking poor is actually important. Now, before you jump to conclusions, hear me out. Here's a fundamental truth. We all have unlimited desires, but limited money. No matter how much we earn, our wants can always outpace our income. We need to always be aware of this, so that when you see that your neighbors have a nicer car or someone is renovating their home, you can always get back to your own true value, which is and should be being grateful for what you have right now. And I get it, even as I record this video, I'm living in a house that my family doesn't want to be living in. We sold our house, we're renting so that I could take the risk to even do this business. And guess what? It's panning out. And we might be moving soon, but of just being grateful that we even have a house to live in and running water and electricity and all those things that seem trite or feel insignificant is incredibly important, and I think one of the biggest superpowers that people miss. But it's only up to you whether you'll always be disappointed with what you have currently, or you'll find a way to be happy with where you are currently. And truly, part of finding happiness is consciously limiting your desires, not giving in to every whim, especially when it comes to material things. Take monks, for example. Many monks take vows of poverty and willingly live with almost no material possessions. They find peace and happiness in simplicity, not in acquiring more physical possessions. And we certainly don't need to all become monks, but we can absolutely learn from this approach. Otherwise, we'll fall prey to the Diderot Effect. Now, the Diderot Effect is named after French philosopher Denis Diderot, who I probably just butchered that name, by the way. It describes how acquiring a new possession can lead to a spiral of unnecessary overconsumption. So the philosopher Diderot received this beautiful coat as a gift, and then he felt like everything else in his world looked shabby by comparison. He got rid of his old straw chair and upgraded to a luxurious Moroccan leather armchair instead. He replaced his old desk with a fancy new writing table and swapped out his favorite prints for more expensive ones. I was absolute master of my old dressing gown, Diderot writes, but I have become a slave to my new one. So he started upgrading everything. In the end, he spent all of his money, got into debt, and wasn't any happier. Sound familiar? It's like a never-ending cycle of upgrades that doesn't lead to any lasting satisfaction. Now, I am here for the truth. I'm not going to twist the data and act like money doesn't increase happiness or can't increase happiness or reduce unhappiness. But I also see how certain relationships with money can lead to frustration and uncertainty. Many of us have seen, or at least have heard of the study that was done in 2010 that ties emotional well-being to income. It at least suggested that emotional well-being can rise with your income. But $75,000 a year was the peak, after which the feeling of happiness plateaued, even when income increased further. Now, adjusted for inflation in 2024, that would be closer to like $110,000 of income. However, a new 2023 paper found that most subjects reported increased emotional well-being up to $500,000 of income annually. Despite that, according to another report, half of consumers earning $100,000 a year still live paycheck to paycheck. So instead of being able to enjoy the wealth that you're finally able to build, you spend all the money that hits your account on looking rich, not being rich. And even though your financial situation seems secure, you find yourself anxious about how little you have left at the end of every month. Why does this happen? We often feel the need to constantly upgrade our lives to keep up with other people, or to satisfy a desire to have everything look, either more expensive or like it's on the same appropriate level playing field of expensiveness. But the shine of new things wears off quickly. Recall the most recent purchase that you splurged on. For how long have you been happy after buying it? An hour? A day? A week? We feel dopamine from something shiny and new for only a short period of time. Then we come back to our daily responsibilities in life, and the excitement of a new purchase fades away. I believe the solution to this, and again, not a perfect silver bullet here, but the solution is to find your true values and keep coming back to them in your overall financial goals. Do you want to look rich, or do you want to build wealth? Is it important what others think of you, or that maybe your kids get a good education, or that you do work that you find fulfilling? These certainly don't have to be mutually exclusive, but it is important to think about and think through what you actually want. Are you stuck in the cycle of constant lifestyle upgrade, or are you thankful for what you actually have? Accepting the thought that you might look poor to someone else is actually very liberating, especially if you invest in what truly matters to you. So stop spending your money on fancy trinkets that will never satisfy. Think about it. If your house is a mess and it really stresses you out, hiring someone to help you clean it can provide more happiness than buying a fancy car that you maybe can't quite really afford, even though you might get a few compliments. Find what brings the most value to you and ditch the idea that you should look a certain way or have a certain lifestyle that suits your income. So why is looking poor, or maybe I should say not faking rich, important? It helps you focus on what truly matters, your actual happiness, financial freedom, and living in alignment with your actual values. In this video, I mentioned how almost half of high-income earners are living paycheck to paycheck. If you wonder why this happens and what you can do about it, check out my previous video linked up here. If you watched this far, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel, as I'm constantly putting more content out there for six-figure families and entrepreneurs looking to break the paycheck to paycheck cycle with automation. Thanks for watching.